Hello everyone and welcome back to A Better You podcast. I am your host, Fernanda Ramirez, and welcome back to another episode. I am so excited to be filming this episode today because I have felt like it has been 7 years since I filmed the last episode, and you may be wondering why, but that is because actually 2 weeks ago now, I filmed 2 episodes to pre-record while I was going to be away on vacation, or I guess on a work trip, kind of. So I haven't filmed a podcast episode in like 2 weeks, but hello, welcome, I'm back. I'm actually filming this at 10 p.m., and so if you're watching the video version of this podcast, you may see that it's very dark around me. I have the mood lighting on. Little reminder there, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel for A Better You, I highly recommend you do so you can watch me talk in person. You can see my in-person reactions. But anyways, I'm so excited for today's episode. This past week and a half, I was at Coachella and then I was in LA for a week. It actually ended up being much longer than I anticipated just because I had to extend my flight and all of these reasons, but we'll get into that in a second. Before we get into today's episode, I want to talk about the title. This episode is going to be about how to feel your best from the inside and out, basically how I get myself back on track after a trip, because this is what I'm going to be doing for the next week, getting back into routine after my little vacay trip that I had, and it's everything that I do to make me feel my best, because I feel like even though this isn't a part of the job description of being a YouTuber or an influencer, whatever it is, I feel like I always have trips coming up where I know I'm going to be in front of a camera, where I know I'm going to have to take a lot of photos, where I'm going to have to be on my best A game because I'm going to be interacting a lot. I'm going to be just doing a lot where I know I need to feel my best. And for me, that means eating healthy, working out, taking care of my skin, taking care of my mental health, just being the best version of myself internally, therefore externally, so I can show up as my best self in all of these situations. So yeah, this is going to be my little guide on how I get back on track, and this doesn't necessarily have to be after a trip. This could work for you if you haven't had a routine and you just want to get on a routine, or if you've kind of fallen off your workout grind, or you've fallen off the eating healthy grind, or you just haven't been on track with your routine. I'm going to have lots of personal examples for how I do this for myself, and I'll also have some tips and tricks to give to you guys to romanticize this health era of your life, whether that be you're trying to romanticize a new morning routine, a new night routine, you're trying to get more into hobbies, or trying to have a more structured work routine. It's going to be all of that. But before we get into this episode, I must tell you, because I don't want to catfish you guys, I don't want to just clickbait you, half of this episode, or at least this first beginning half, I really want to go into depth on my experience with Coachella and my week in LA, because I feel like I have so many story times of what happened, and I know a lot of you guys are very curious about that experience. I honestly think they're really funny stories, and it kind of gives you a little bit of an insight on the influencer life. But if you're not into that, you just want to skip ahead to the topic of today's video, I'll leave a timestamp right now, and I'll put it on the screen. I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to give it a rate, and I can't wait for you guys to listen to the next one. I love you guys. I'm going to bed, and I'll see you soon.